Hello, welcome to Odds on Bundesliga Matchday 24. Another exciting round in the German top flight with Leverkusen looking to bounce back after losing to Mainz, Dortmund pursuing in the title race, and much more. We're now determined to analyze everything about Bundesliga Matchday 24 with our German football betting expert, Radek Vegas. Stay tuned to learn what tips and predictions Radek has prepared for you. And of course, don't forget to like, hit the notification bell, and subscribe to our YouTube channel to help us grow and we can keep delivering great content. Leave your comments below and let us know what do you think about this round 24 of the Bundesliga. And now it's showtime. Hello Radek, how have you been? Nice to see you.
Hey Daniel, nice to see you. Eduardo is on holiday, so we have to work in the Bundesliga section this weekend, and I'm looking forward to this game day to analyze it now.
Yes, it's match day 24 in the Bundesliga. We saw some great results again last time out, a lot of goals once again, and it seems like the home team is always in advantage here in Bundesliga because they perform very, very weakly away from home. We saw that with Leverkusen. Let's kick off this new round with Friday, Hoffenheim and Stuttgart. Hoffenheim is back on winning ways with second victory in a row against Wolfsburg with 1-2. The team is also very reliable at home soil with 7 wins, 2 draws and only 2 defeats. Stuttgart, meanwhile, is winless in 8 consecutive Bundesliga games and hasn't won since 11 December, when ironically they defeated Wolfsburg with 2-0 away from home. Also, their last away win against Hoffenheim was in 2013, and things don't look very optimistic here for Stuttgart, in my opinion.
No, they are in a deep crisis, and I don't see them having a chance against Hoffenheim. Hoffenheim is getting better, and they should win this game. And the three-way odds are a bit too low on Hoffenheim, 1.5 around, and but nevertheless, I think it's worth to bet on it in an ACCA, because as everything you said, Stuttgart is really not good enough, and Hoffenheim seems to be back on track after 2 consecutive wins. And my favorite bet is Asian handicap -1 on Hoffenheim. You get odds of 1.94. Compare on Oddspedia, maybe it's getting worse as we come closer to the game day, because we are early to analyze it, and the later you get the odds, I think they will drop, and that's why 1.94 at Bet365 is at the moment the best odds. Maybe it can be lower, but still 1.9 on this is good enough.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning to our audience that we record quite early, before the Champions League and before the Europa League, because it's tight schedule. We have a lot of shows we have to manage somehow. And moving on to Saturday, Gladbach and Wolfsburg. Gladbach took a heavy beating at Dortmund with 6-0, and we will hope to bounce back now that they return home. Wolfsburg also lost 1-2 to Hoffenheim, as we just mentioned, in the last fixture, and that ended their successful run of 2 back-to-back victories. Both teams are separated by just 1 point, with Wolfsburg sitting 1 point above Gladbach. But if we look at the current form of both teams, I think Gladbach is a bit worse, because they managed only 4 points, while Wolfsburg 7 points in the last 5 Bundesliga games. Difficult to pick a winner, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure, because both have not really good points to win a game. And after all, Wolfsburg won some games before the loss against Hoffenheim. They are still in trouble. And also Gladbach is. And the most fascinating thing in Bundesliga at the moment, or for weeks now, is that Gladbach's coach 𝐜𝐴𝐷𝐴𝐷𝐴 is still having his job, and I really don't think there is a kind of coach effect in most of the cases, as we've seen in Wolfsburg when Mark van Bommel was sacked. Wolfsburg was on position 8 or 7 or something like that, and now they are way below that, and so the coach change had no effect and had a negative effect on Wolfsburg. And I think there is almost no better coach than Adi Hütter in the Bundesliga. That's ironic because, sometimes you have to react as a manager. And after getting 6 goals against Borussia Dortmund, I thought Hütter is sacked and he's still in his job, maybe. Yeah, in his chair. In this game, there has to be a reaction at home of Gladbach, but
not very reliable.
It's a close game, and the only thing which makes me a bit confident is that Gladbach won their last home game against Augsburg 3-2, but there's no option to bet on them because the odds are ridiculous low. Imagine you have a team losing 6-0 and they have odds of 2.0. That's too low, and that's why I think the value is more on the away side. But betting on Wolfsburg in my eyes is still not really the right thing, and that's why in this case, as you said at the beginning, I like the draw. And this is 3.75 because it's hard to pick a real winner here.
Yeah, it's actually because last meeting at Gladbach was 1-1 in 2020, and after that at Wolfsburg in February 2021 it ended at 0-0. Leverkusen and Bielefeld is what we're going to mention next. Leverkusen ended their great series of four victories with an unlucky defeat with 2-3 to Mainz. 2 quick goals at the 84th and the 88th minutes of the game were the decisive factor, and despite that Patrick Schick scored his 20th Bundesliga goal of the season, Leverkusen couldn't hold on the pressure. Meanwhile, Arminia managed another important victory in their survival battle against Union Berlin with 1-0. They're now 3 points clear of the relegation zone, but every point is vital at this point of the season, so can we expect maybe some sort of upset here?
I think Leverkusen is too strong, and especially at home, Leverkusen should thrash Bielefeld away, no matter how Bielefeld played in the last games. I respect Bielefeld because they have one of the smallest budgets in the league, and they are not expected to have a chance in this season, but as the last game showed, they are really hard to beat, and they fight till the end. And at the it will be very interesting. But Leverkusen for sure is a way better team, and we get odds of 1.37 on the Leverkusen win, and this is not really great, but we can combine this with a win bet on Hoffenheim, because I think these two favorites, I really don't like favorite bets, but in this case the two favorites are kind of a class better in my eyes, and Hoffenheim and Leverkusen should win their home games, and if we combine these two we get odds of 2.0. Another thing is, like I did at Hoffenheim, betting on Asian handicap -1 on Leverkusen, but this is not a great bet in this case, because we only get odds of 1.55 on Asian handicap -1, and this is still too low. And hiring the Asian handicap spread is no option, because the probabilities stay the same, and it's getting harder to surpass the high Asian handicaps. And no matter how clear the win should be, another option I see is betting on over 3 goals, as we've seen that Leverkusen has problems in their defense, and losing a game where they were leading 2 times against Mainz last week, and losing the game in the last 10 minutes with 2 goals conceded. That means Bielefeld can score, and option for sure, both teams to score. But I like more here the over 3 goals, because it's not necessary that Bielefeld scores in this case, and Leverkusen alone should be strong enough to score 3 goals against Bielefeld. That's why I like the over 3 goal bet here most.
Moving on to Freiburg and Hertha Berlin. Freiburg picked 3 more points in Augsburg last time out in a game that saw 3 goals until the 26th minute and then just died. With the same amount of points at Leipzig and Hoffenheim, so the dream for European football next season is very well alive. Hertha, meanwhile, is desperate to stay above relegation zone, but they need to start earning points from somewhere. Certainly, that didn't happen against Leipzig, who trashed them 6-1 at home, and really I wouldn't bet my money on them here either.
Yeah, you can't, and the interesting thing about this game against Leipzig was that the standing was 1-1 till the 50th minute. Then they got a red card, the Berlin, and after that they fell completely apart, and Leipzig scored 5 other goals in the shortest time with their great offense potential. But at the end, I wouldn't rate this too high, because as they had 1 good half and a red card, so it's kind of a bit unbalanced. But anyway, they should not have a chance in Freiburg. But on the other hand, I don't like the Freiburg odds, only 1.66. In my calculations, there is a small value on Freiburg still, because as we know, Freiburg is a really good home team. Only lost 2 games at home, and as you said at the beginning, it seems every team is really way better at home, and that's why I won't bet against the home team, and I won't bet on Hertha. That leads, the only option could be betting on Freiburg, but 1.66 is too low in my eyes, and Asian handicap also, as I said before, is no option if the 3-way winning bet is too low. And betting on both teams to score is also no option, as Hertha is able to score, as we've seen against Leipzig. But you shouldn't bet on Hertha to score as well, because we have one of the best defenses with Freiburg, and betting on both teams to score is also a risk, and there are only risks in this game, and that's why it's a kind of a minefield. Where you drop, you will be losing money, and if it's too risky, it's like gambling, and sports betting is gambling, we know, but we can reduce the effect on gambling by ignoring games like this, where we can't find any real good bet.
Moving on to Furth and Cologne. Furth is most definitely glad to be back home soil after yet another defeat on the road, this time to Bayern Munich with 1-4. For me, it was a surprise that they actually opened the score and won the halftime. The odds for that were 20. Crazy odds. If you wanted a value, here is your value, because Furth was winning at 42nd minute, and then that was the score, 1-0 for them at the halftime. And then Cologne managed an important victory away to Eintracht Frankfurt. Actually, that was at home, sorry, but they're not very convincing on their visits, having won just 2 this season. So the outright market is a bit tricky here, because we know Furth is at the bottom of the league, the worst team overall, but they picked most of their points at home. So very tricky one again for 1x2.
Yeah, and no one expected Furth not losing a lot of games in a row and losing against Bayern Munich, winning 1 half as they did in the first game against Bayern Munich. I said it in the last video that I think Furth is able to score, and my bet was both teams to score here on Furth against Bayern Munich. And that makes it very hard, because Furth is on a kind of run, and at home especially they seem to fight really hard, and betting against them at home, yeah, is kind of dangerous. But on the other hand, we have Cologne, and Cologne is one of the most surprising teams in the season after they had some problems the week before against Leipzig, but they collected a lot of points where we didn't expect them, and so I think the odds of 2.0 on Cologne are good enough here. And I know it's dangerous because we shouldn't underestimate or underrate Furth, but yeah, at the end, I think the quality of Cologne should be enough to win this game, and the odds of 2.0 are really attractive here.
Union Berlin and Mainz is the next game on the list. Both teams have exactly 34 points, with Mainz currently occupying 8th position because they have a better goal difference. The odds are also almost even for a home and away team, as you can see. But here the decisive factor might be the current form, and Union Berlin is definitely in worse form with 3 back-to-back defeats. They haven't even scored a goal, but perhaps this time they will manage to find the back of the net against a Mainz team that hasn't won an away fixture in the last 6 and received a goal in 8 consecutive visits.
Yeah, this in my eyes it's like a draw, because it's hard to pick a winner here. It's remarkable that Union Berlin hasn't won a game since Max Kruse left them. I think he was the brain of their game. And the other thing is that Union Berlin is really not good away. No matter that they are on position 7 in the away standings, they only won 3 games away, and they are on position 8 in the home standings, but they won 6 games at home and only lost 2 games at home. That again shows that we have a really strong home balance in this situation of the Bundesliga. Maybe this can continue, so that trend that the home teams are in that big favor is not really unlikely, because there is a kind of home advantage in every league and most of the games. But if it's too high, it can be a regression to the middle, as we call it in the math. And I think in this case, Union Berlin has the potential to strike back at home and maybe not lose the game, as the odds are really balanced. I would say we find value on the home team, and the odds are really high. At win for Union Berlin are 2.7, so we can kind of assure us against the draw and bet on Asian handicap 0 on Union Berlin, and that gives us odds of 1.86. Knowing that Mainz is also a home team and is not the best team away, so that makes me kind of confident that's the right thing to bet on Asian handicap 0 on Union Berlin, as I did in the last 3 to 5 games, I think, because they always get huge odds. And I think after their kind of small losing streak, they are not in crisis. I think they had hard games, and now it's the time for them to strike back, at least collect 1 point. Maybe in this case, I understand betting on both teams to score, as Mainz managed to come back against Leverkusen and also score 3 goals here, which I respect a lot. This was a great game of Mainz. And that's why also both teams to score here is an option, because we get odds of 1.9, and Union Berlin scoring at home is also not a big surprise, and that is a good odd, and also the Union Berlin Asian handicap 0.
So if there is a draw, if you bet on Asian handicap 0, you get your money back, which is always better than losing them.
Sure,
And
yeah.
both teams to score
Sometimes.
both teams to score is around the same, about 185 to 190 currently. And yeah, it's up to you guys what you choose. Frankfurt and Bayern Munich is what we have next. Frankfurt has 2 consecutive defeats now, with the most recent 1-0 to Cologne. Their form is among the worst in the league, and at the moment with just 4 points earned and 4 goals scored in the last 5 fixtures in Bundesliga. Meanwhile, Bayern is maybe getting a bit tired now. We can see them away from home losing to Bochum in the last Bundesliga visit, and also they managed just 1-1 draw to Salzburg on Wednesday Champions League night. This is not something that we're used to seeing from the Bavarians, but we also want to keep in mind that Eintracht won their last 2 hostings against them. So here's some stats for you again. Maybe Asian handicap for the home side if you want to be a little bit risky. Let's say the Asian handicap plus 1.5, something like this.
Yeah, but that means you're kind of betting on a team with a bad streak and against one of the best teams in the world. And I would never bet against Bayern Munich, and because I'm not a huge fan of them. I would say it's just not a good idea to bet against Bayern Munich, no matter how they played against Bochum and Salzburg. So for sure, it seems Frankfurt is double motivated against Bayern Munich, but the thing is that, as you said, they're not in good form at the moment, so it's kind of highly speculative to bet at this moment on Frankfurt, because according to their bad results in the last games, they still have low odds against Bayern Munich, because last game Furth had odds of 40, and Furth is in a way better situation at Frankfurt at the moment. Sounds a bit weird, because Furth is last in the standing, but if you only look at the last 5 games, Furth has collected way more points than Frankfurt in these 5 games. So Frankfurt deserves odds of around 15 or 20. So it's no value on Frankfurt. But on the other hand, Bayern with odds of 1.4, seems to be more attractive in this situation. And I won't bet on Asian handicap minus 1.5 here, because I still see the points you mentioned, that Bayern Munich had problems at Salzburg, and they might be a bit out of control and not playing full style, and also were behind against Fürth. But maybe the second half against Fürth was a game changer, and so, as I always had in the last games of Bayern Munich, betting on both teams to score. In this case, it's also an option, because Frankfurt can score against Bayern Munich, but 1.58 is too low on this.
Yeah.
Betting on total goals is also really bad, because we get odds
over
on
3.5.
Yeah, the line is on 3.5.
High.
Yeah, and 1.9 on this is a bit not really interesting. So the only thing I would say is make a favorite bet on Bayern Munich, 1.4 around, and we should win this game in 80% of the cases, and that means we should expect odds of 1.2. We get odds of 1.4. That means we have kind of value of 20%, which is awesome. And Bayern Munich should win this game. And if they don't, then it's another surprise. And maybe the guys who bet on head-to-head, they think they are right because they won one game. But at the end, betting is about thousands and thousands of games. And if you're making profit in 1,000 bets with head-to-head, then show me your stats and I believe you maybe, but before then, I'm skeptical.
Okay, so on Sunday we have an early kickoff, Bochum versus Leipzig. Bochum will be looking to capitalize on one more home win since the last away game only managed to draw against Stuttgart. Definitely most Bundesliga teams are counting on their hostings, as we mentioned a couple of times. And Leipzig is not an exception because the team is currently 4th in the general table, but only 11th on the away table. So Leipzig will be having an important game in the UCL Champions League against Real Sociedad on Thursday, and we record before that, so we don't know what is going to happen there. So this result might also affect their mentality, and the odds around 170. I'm not really sure they're worth the risk right now.
The only thing which speaks for Leipzig is that they made their last wins on away pitches in the last or in this year 2022 when they got their new coach Domenico Tedesco. So in this case the coach change had obviously a short-term effect on Leipzig, as they were really bad before with Jesse March, and now they are on track again, and they jumped on position 4, and now they're on Champions League course again. So I think their away strength is getting better with now Domenico Tedesco, but the problem here is that we've all seen Bochum against Bayern Munich playing just awesome football in the first half and scoring amazing goals and just celebrating football. And I really laugh that their fans who are not expecting anything because they lost the first game against Bayern Munich 7-0. Now their team won against Bayern Munich. This is kind of the best moment in the history of the club. And on the other hand, we've seen that there is a kind of curse after you have a good game against Bayern Munich. The teams are reached everything in their life, and so they are not really focused on the next game, and so they almost lost against Stuttgart, the worst team at the moment in Bundesliga, and they only draw because they had a penalty in the last minute. And so I think they're way better at home. They can for sure be a danger to Leipzig. But as I think that Leipzig made a statement with scoring 6 goals in Hertha, I also think they won't risk to lose in Bochum. That also means that Bochum is able to keep a point at home. But on the other hand, 1.6 on Leipzig could be enough. And I really would say this is a good bet.
Okay, I just made a mistake. Realized I said Leipzig are playing the Champions League, but they're actually playing in the Europa League against Real Sociedad. The first game ended 2-2, so a lot of pressure on a tight schedule right now for the Leipzig team. We should wait and see how this develops. And the last game of the Bundesliga, Matchday 24th, is Augsburg and Dortmund. The home team are in the relegation zone with 22 points, but still have all chances to survive one more season in the top flight football. Of course, their home is the best place to collect points, with currently having 15 out of these 22 points this season, and a decent goal difference of 60 goals scored to 18 goals conceded. And even when they lose, they normally manage to score 1 goal. And even without Haaland in their lineup, we saw that Dortmund still manages to trash teams such as Gladbach with 6-0 in the last fixture. Dortmund is equally dangerous at home and away this season, and I think they should be able to win here. The odds about 1.60, and both teams to score combined. Maybe that's about 280. What do you think?
Everything right here, and the only thing is that Dortmund seems to be way stronger at home, and on the other hand, what we've seen in the last Dortmund games was just for a neutral spectator, it was just fun because there were so many goals, about 7 against Leverkusen, about 7 goals in the European game against Glasgow Rangers, where they lost 5-2, and also 6 goals now in the game against Gladbach. So betting on Dortmund win in Augsburg seems to be kind of a sure thing. The odds of 1.58 are still attractive. But what I like more is betting on goals here. It's not really good odds. Over 3 goals is odds of 1.78. It seems to be a good thing, and the other thing is both teams to score, as Augsburg is playing at home, but you also only get 1.6 here. Betting on a weak team like Augsburg scoring is way too low. Everything leads me to thinking that the best option is supporting Dortmund here, as they are in a better situation. Them winning the game with Asian handicap -1 gives us odds of 1.9, and this is maybe the best bet in this game, I think, but I personally don't bet on this situation.
Thank you for this very thorough analysis, I would say, of Matchday 24. Would you have some ACCA for the end?
Yeah, as I said at the beginning, I would say in this game day we have the option on some clear favorites. That's I think the first time I try this, because in this situation it makes sense, as we have 2 really good home teams with Hoffenheim and Leverkusen playing against Stuttgart and Bielefeld. At the end, I think Bielefeld might make a point to break this ACCA, as it always is in ACCAs. And the third game in this ACCA could be Bayern Munich winning at Eintracht Frankfurt with odds of 1.5 or 1.45 around. So you get odds of 3.2 if you combine the 3 games. Betting on more risky double bet, I would say just betting on Hoffenheim and Leverkusen home wins. As I said before, but just make it as Asian handicap -1, so you can raise the odds on these 2 games, and if they win, they should win with 2 goals in advantage, and if they don't and they only win with 1 goal in advantage, then you get your money back, and the ACCA is not broken. So I think the odds on this would be around 4. You only have 2 games, and you lower the risk, and if Leverkusen is not winning, it's broken anyway, and so
Okay, perfect. That's a wrap then. Thank you very much for analyzing this together, and hope to speak soon.
Yeah, thank you for watching, and have a good weekend.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, guys, we have all games from Bundesliga Matchday 24 analyzed and predicted by Radek, and you're now able to see them on your screen. If you enjoyed the show, please like it, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell. Maybe share with someone who also loves Bundesliga. Check out the rest of our YouTube content and follow us on all social media channels, including a podcast. And remember, stay on the right side of the money.